We are the weirdos, mister.
All right, y'all. This tea today is so hot, it's got alcohol in it, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead, do the thing that I do, which is, get ready. Welcome to my streaming space. I think I'm gonna film this way moving forward because I feel like the camera might not focus on weird things. It doesn't matter, neither here nor there. Y'all, listen. For those of you who are new to the Postal Tea, welcome. I'm Audra. I think I'm going to re-upload all of those tea videos on this channel or over onto my Audra Reins channel. Y'all listen, I think currently I'm keeping this channel because I do have channel memberships on it. And I don't want people to feel like, I don't have memberships on the other one. I don't want people to feel like they have to switch to Patreon. Anyway, y'all. So for those of you who do not know, I work for the post office. I am a mail carrier. Perhaps you saw me on Instagram. Listen, don't look at me, okay? I'm a weird cake, and you either want to eat the weird cake or you don't want to. And if you don't like weird cake, now is the time to exit stage left and or right. What just flew? Oh, that was water. I just flung water off of this. Anyways, so I am a mail carrier, and every so often they do mail counts. Now the thing about mail counts for a long time has been that they've mostly been for if your route is overburdened, they will do a count. And what that means is they count like how much mail you get, how many flats and letters, and those are like magazines and missent letters that are making their way over individually and not in the DPS, which is machine sorted. Whenever I say DPS, that is machine sorted mail that is completely in route order, route and address order. And then they also will count your packages, how long it takes to load, basically getting an idea of exactly all of the work it takes, right, to get your route together, right? So they're doing that count, and then they let you know like what your route is, like if you were correct in thinking like, oh, my route is too large, because the most that they will pay you for is 48 hours on a route. They will not go past that. I don't know why. Don't ask me. I have no idea. The post office works in so many mysterious ways. Most of us don't even know how. And we work there. There's people who've worked for the post office for 20 some odd years, still don't know how it works. That's how secretive they are. So anyway, they do these mail counts regularly, and they've been done, well, not regularly. Let me rephrase that. They do mail counts because it's definitely not regularly, but they've been done every time, like for instance, when an auxiliary route goes up to a regular route. An auxiliary route, for those of you who care to know, I'm going to be giving a lot of explanations, but an auxiliary route is basically everybody has enough on their routes and you cannot fit this on anybody's route. So at this point you create an auxiliary route, and really what it should be, I'm not gonna get into it. Yes, I am. What you should be doing is as soon as new neighborhoods pop up, you put them on auxiliary routes and then figure out where they're gonna go after that. Bo, I need you to relax. And then once you figure, no baby, I love you, but I have to work now. We've already snuggled. We've snuggled for hours together. That's enough. So anyways, so what you're gonna do at that point is you're going to create those auxiliary routes, and then once you figure out where it goes, you put it there, etc., etc. Or sometimes an auxiliary route gets big enough to where that auxiliary route becomes a route of its own, and then you put that up for bid. So that is where we are. So that's another reason that you do a mail count, is to see if that route is big enough to actually be a route. So we have all of that. And that's how it's been done. And it's been done by people for a long time. Like a human being does that count. They even count like the time it takes you to load. And then they recently switched to RX. I can't remember what it stands for, but basically it is how we get paid, and it's by scans. So when they started this, it was like last year, and they started training us, and one of the things that they constantly spouted was like, oh, you have to do these 6 scans, which is clock in, clock out, start load, end load, depart to route, and return to the post office, right? Those are the 6 scans, and everybody had to do those. And we did see that there were other scans. So like, I know that there are people who'd be like, well, it's your own fault for not looking into it. But I think a lot of us really thought that like they were going to train us on the rest of those scans once they realized that we had the 6 down. Plot twist, they didn't. We're here doing our business and the mini mail count comes. I feel like that was last month. It ended on the 11th, which was when I went regular. It's been awesome, by the way, for the most part. It's been awesome. There is something so glorious about the fact that every time a route goes down or somebody doesn't show up or someone's sick, it's none of my concern. Like, I just do my route, I go home. It's none of my business, y'all. It's so good. It's amazing. It makes me feel like a winner every second of every day. I'm just like, I win. I'm the best. Like, it's just nice to have that sensation of like not being stressed out that I have to like do extra work at the end of my shift. Like, because I don't know if y'all know, like, there's just something really stressful about that whole thing. Well, I mean, obviously you want to go home and you want to rest, and not knowing when your day is going to end every single day can be just like, not just even nerve-wracking, but like, or racking, I don't know, reeking, who cares? But it can just like make it difficult. Like, it does make it difficult for you to make any plans. Hold on, I meant to light candles a while ago and I forgot because my ADHD was like, let's find that candle wick thing so you can cut the wick and not burn your house down. I forgot about that. Please hold. Now, quick note about the mail count, y'all. I'm back, obviously. That was so dumb. Anyways, quick note about the mail count is this. Every time the mail count comes up, we all notice one extremely important fact, and that is that suddenly the mail volume goes down. We all notice that we no longer have the amount of full coverage magazines and things that advertisers do. Our packages suddenly go down significantly. Like, normally when you have, let's say 500, 600 packages a day, like all of a sudden you have 250, you're like, what the hell's going on? We know. Like, suddenly everybody's volume disappears. And the post office will swear up and down that they are not throttling that, but we can clearly see the difference. It's the same thing that we see every Tuesday. So every Tuesday is when we do the advos, which is that like little newspaper filled with coupons that you get every week. And we do that. And I'm telling you, every single Tuesday, everybody notices that you suddenly just don't have as many packages. Why is that? Well, you don't have as many packages, you don't have as much mail. Why is that? Because delivering those advos takes up a lot of time, especially since they moved to the CBU system, which, for those of you that don't know, that's collection box units. Is if you live in an apartment, you have one. If you've bought a new house, you have one. Instead of you having a box in front of your house, you now have a unit that you go to and have to remember to check your mail there, right? And so since they moved to that, they know it takes longer. And as soon as they realize that it takes longer and that people are definitely not gonna finish, most of the time, a large majority of people do not finish in their evaluated time, all of a sudden packages always, like every Tuesday, like clockwork, right? And sometimes that means that Wednesday is just full up. You have like a boatload of packages. It's just, they act like they really act like we're dumb, but we're not. We see it, like, we're just all like, we can clearly see. And they're like, no, nothing changed. We're not doing that. We're like, are you sure? Anyways. And so as expected, the same thing went down for the mail count, right? We noticed that. And then we got back our route evaluations. When I tell you that this has shaken the post office to the core, and it's specifically RCAs, which is the rural carriers, not CCAs. Because CCAs get paid hourly, and I guess there's been like this huge discrepancy for quite a while with regards to that. Because essentially, as an RCA, let's say that they say that your route takes 8 hours or 9 hours, right? But you finish every day in 7 hours. They just don't, they're cheap and they don't want to pay you to work that long. They're like, no, we don't want to pay you to not work the full day. And my thing is, if y'all just want us to work hourly, just say that. Then we'll be out there minding our business and not really rushing and just like doing our job. You know what I mean? Not saying anybody's gonna milk the clock. I'm just saying what people are gonna do is stop like hurrying and just be like, all right, we're cool. I'm not in a rush is essentially what's going to happen. You're just gonna be like, yeah, I'm not in a rush to get this shit done. I have this allotted time and I'm gonna do it in that allotted time. Like, it's fine, right? So there has been a dispute with regard to the amount of money people make and the amount of hours and just like paying postal people in general. So the mail count comes back and it is a disaster, y'all. When I tell you disaster, I'm telling you like there are people who lost $20,000. Yes, $20,000 a year off of their salary. And these people, a lot of them, some of them could have been in the middle of buying a house, buying a car, and now you don't qualify. Do you know what I mean? Like this has far-reaching indications that isn't just like you're not getting paid enough and them jacking your salary. It's also very much a problem that you're just gonna be there like, hi, I was in the middle of like buying a house. I was in the middle of buying a car. Or like, I'm just trying to live my life and plan it around this and I can't now because y'all screwed me on my salary. And they did. I myself lost around $9,000 a year, which is a really nice punch in the gut because I just got a salary increase and I was like, FUD, yeah, this is gonna be so helpful because I really needed it. I was like, oh my gosh, because you know, you have to pay for benefits and I was like, I really need for this to work out because like once you add benefits in, it can get a little, you know, you lose money when you add in the benefits, if that makes sense. Like you're gaining because you have benefits, but like the amount that you're actually taking into your house goes down. And I was really excited for this because I was like, oh my God, all of that hard work as, you know, basically the post office's little bitch is paying off. Cause like to get the salary that I made last year, I had to work 12-hour days pretty regularly. I had to help on a route just about every other day. Christmas was an absolute nightmare. It's like starting on Black Friday, it's a nightmare to be an RCA. You have to get up, you have to be at the post office at 6 a.m. to do like one parcel run. Then you have to come back and get your route together, run it. And then after you're done doing that, you have another parcel run. So like you just had days, and don't let someone be out like without anybody knowing they're gonna be out. That route's not covered. It was just an absolute nightmare. And the whole point of going regular is that you're like, that's over for me. I'm not gonna have to deal with that anymore. I am finally going to get paid well and not have to be an indentured servant anymore, right? To have my pay increase barely be above what I was making as an RCA is just like a slap in the face, because I'm like, damn, I may as well have just stayed in RCA. Like the only difference obviously now is like Sundays, like I don't have to work Sundays, and obviously like I don't, you know, currently have to like help on any route. Like I can, I think if I really want to, if they need me, I think I can. I'm not positive, but like, yeah, I can. It may not be overtime time yet. And we should have seen the writing on the wall for this, because like normally during the holidays, it's every regular's favorite time because they can earn overtime, right? And they're like, hell yeah, overtime city, here I come. But they weren't even really letting regulars do that. They kept just like not having us help or asking us to help. They would just like put all of it on the RCAs unless there was no other choice. And no other choice would usually mean that there's like more than one route down, and they definitely weren't gonna get that done with the peeps that they had. Do you know what I'm saying? So they were like, fine, we'll let the regulars help, because they didn't want to pay them. So when I tell you that this mail count was an absolute nightmare and how much money people lost, I mean, it was a nightmare. They took some people, like because I'm on a K route. Some people went from having a K route to a J route, which is just, you know, one thing Onside does make well is their brushes. I do like those. Anyway, this whole thing becomes an absolute just nightmare for like literally all of us. We're all just like, bitch, what? Everybody's sitting here trying to figure out how even routes that were overburdened, not anymore. They're like, nope. Like mine went from a 48K to a 44. I'm one of the lucky ones, by the way, because I only lost 4 hours, but you know, I lost 9K in salary. So there's that. But here's the kicker. Here's where it all goes just fully hardcore awry. There are so many different scans that a lot of us should have been using and we were not using. And we weren't using them because we weren't taught to use them. Now, again, I know that there are going to be people who go like, oh, well, it's your responsibility to learn. but when? Because they didn't actually give us a hard copy of all of the rules and all of the things that you need to do, and with like full explanations. They give us like a tiny little like chart or list or whatever. And then when we were using it, we were told, oh, don't do this. Like for instance, at a CBU, you're supposed to be doing, counting your authorized dismounts. It's counted as such for this reason. Because everything is like digital and our scanners basically record where we are, what we're doing, etc. The authorized dismount prevents the system from pinging your supervisor if you're standing at the spot or if you're seen at the spot for too long, right? Let me bring you in. There we are. So what that means is like, if I'm at a CBU, I can be at a CBU depending on the day, anywhere from like, I don't know, sometimes if it's a really short day, like 15 minutes to like 30, 45. It just depends on what all you have that day, right? As such, therefore, and forthwith, if you were doing curbside, meaning mailbox at the house, you being at that spot would definitely send a notification being like, hey, what is that person doing? And why are they showing up on here for being in this spot for this long, right? Why were they there for 30 minutes? You better find out what the hell they were doing. So we were supposed to, all this time, have been using authorized dismounts so that you could actually count how many trips it takes you to do this, right? So you could actually be like, yeah, it takes, 4 to 5 trips to complete the work at the CBU. And I bring this up because nobody was taught this. And when we were doing it, we kept getting told by our supervisor that that is not what you use at CBUs, and that you're supposed to use like additional trips or whatever. And I was just like, I don't think that that's right. And a lot of us kept going, I don't think that's right. But we listened because you're supposed to listen to your superiors. And so, and we just didn't think that's part of the problem. Obviously that was an issue as well. So here we are, not using literally all of these scans that we should have been using. We knew to use trips to door. So if it took you, 3 trips, and what that is if you have several Amazon boxes, because that's usually who it is, you normally have like, you might have 4 or 5 Amazon boxes for one house. What they were telling us is like, oh, you don't count your first trip. You only count the subsequent trips to take it back. That's actually incorrect. You're supposed to count literally all of the trips, because when you choose trips to door, it's only going to count 1 trip. But when you choose it and you have several trips, then you have to put it all together and be like, it took 5 trips, not I did 1 trip to the door plus 4. Does that like make sense? Anyways, I hope it makes sense, because I be talking, I don't know if I'll be making sense all the time when I speak. So everything makes sense in my head. It just doesn't make sense when it gets out. So that being said, there were so many scans that people weren't trained to do and weren't told to use. And even when they were using them, they were told that they were not supposed to be using them. So it just like kind of went in this horrible circle. And now everybody, like the entire service, everybody's just like, I don't think so. So there's a lot of things that are changing, because everybody's pissed off, number one. But there's a lot of things that are changing. So first of all, you may notice a lot more packages to the door. So good for you. But the other thing that is definitely changing is like all the little things that your postal person used to do to help you out. Like, let's say you put the wrong address or you transposed numbers, they would like look on their case and fix that for you and still deliver to you, etc. I don't think a lot of people are going to be doing that near as much anymore, because it takes too much time and they're not really trying to pay us for that kind of time. Especially on CBUs, and especially here in Texas, let me just tell you, the amount of people who are renting, like there's so many brand new houses and they're being rented out and people just like come and go. It's become kind of this like weird thing. Like if people are talking about the housing market, just being like, oh, it's so hot right now. It's not. It's being like most of that. Listen, let me be straight honest with y'all. I think it's funny that I said straight. Anyways, move on, because I am definitely wiggly. So the issue with that is the housing market always seems like it's hot, but especially right now. But really, a lot of it is real estate companies buying this up, like leasing companies, and they're buying up these properties and falsely inflating the market to make it look like people are buying houses. And I'm not saying people aren't buying houses, but I am saying that it's false with how much people are buying houses, because a lot of it are these companies that buy them up and then they lease out the property for a year, maybe two, and then they sell the house, which the builders are fine with because the builders don't want to be stuck with the house that whole time. So, all of that being said, we are now in a bit of a pickle and a nightmare, and it's only going to get worse, I think. Like, my opinion is that this whole thing was intended to force out the older people who've been working at the post office for 20 some odd years because they make a lot of money, a ton of money actually. And here's why. These are just my conjectures. The post office is not gonna whatever. But this is just what I think. My opinion on that entire situation is this. When they decided to go this route, they've changed the pay table since then. There's table 1 and then there's table 2. And table 2 is what I'm on. And this is publicly available information. So it's not like I'm telling you something that you can't Google and find out. But table 1 basically is it gave a lot of money. People on table 1 make a lot of money and have very, very nice increases. People on table 2, like myself, do not have that luxury, right? We're just, oh, okay, this sucks. And then of course, when you add in the benefits, even though benefits are nice, etc., you're getting paid less because you have to pay for benefits. So yes, you have healthcare and it's really good healthcare. And you also get to include, retirement benefits, etc. But the problem is that your take home is not as much. So you're doing more work for less, if that makes sense. It does make sense. I don't know why I'm doing that. I'm sorry. I'm just so used to having to qualify myself for people who think that I'm stupid. Anyway, so the goal, my opinion, my conjecture is that they wanted all the people on table 1 who've been with the post office for 20 some odd years to quit, because that would free up a large amount of money, a large amount of revenue, because the most money that the post office spends is what? On its employees, right? Ooh, did I break in here with the final look to talk to y'all about my final fun time with Dossier? All right, y'all. Woody Sage. Listen, this scent is inspired by Joe Malone's Wood Sage and Sea Salt cologne. And one of the biggest reasons I picked this up is because I love me a fresh scent. I like for it to be just very fresh, not overly floral, not overly whatever. And many of y'all in the Patreon fam let me know that I should try this. And so I was like, all right, y'all, listen, this is one of my favorites. I really, really enjoy this one. It's so nice. The top notes are fig tree and grapefruit. The middle notes are marine notes and amberat, and the base notes are clary sage and amberwood. Now I bring this to you because this has become one of my favorite scents, especially for work, because I find that it's very fresh, but it's not overpowering and overwhelming. And I like that because when I'm sweating and getting gross, I can still feel confident that I don't smell disgusting at the end of it. However, conversely, I want to tell you a little story about another perfume that I picked up from these fools. Hold on. Y'all gonna hit the three-peat with this because they did send me quite a few and I didn't get to talk about all of them. So I'm gonna talk about them now because we're chilling. And if you want to, scooch on, go ahead. I never said I was a professional perfumery. We're gonna move on. So one of the ones that I got where I was like, I made a mistake was aromatic pineapple. Y'all, I got this, and let me just tell you, it is inspired by YSL's Eau de Parfum, and the issue with it is that the clary sage is just a lot for me. Just a lot. I do not love this for me. It's got too much of that sea type scent. It is too fresh, too fragrant for me. And now I know where I like clary sage to be, and it's definitely not as a middle note. It is as a base note, in the woody sage. This is the fun part about this, because they give you these cards. It really helps you to kind of start figuring out what scents you like, what notes you enjoy, and where you enjoy them. Not just that you enjoy a note, right? Because I like clary sage, but I don't like it in the middle, baby. It's not. This one was a fail for me, but it might be a win for some of y'all. Finalmente, did y'all know that they also create their own scents that are inspired by them? This is a gender neutral scent, and it is their caramelized lavender and hazelnut. Now, originally, I was not a fan of this, okay? Let me just explain. I wasn't a fan because it does kind of smell like a Christmas tree. Howsoever, I really began to enjoy it. So the top notes are salted, caramelized, hazelnut accord. The middle notes are lavender, violet, and orange flower. And the base notes are patchouli, vetiver, suede, and ambroxan. Now let me just tell y'all, I don't know what most of that is. Let me just be very honest. I don't know what most of that is. Some of it I do. I'm like, I know lavender, I know patchouli, I know violet. I'm not sure about orange flower. But this ended up growing on me. It's very interesting, especially because I think I really like this because I can pair it with a perfume oil, and then the two together create like this gorgeous, glorious scent, and it's personalized to me. So if y'all want to check out Dossier, go on down there, you know, do your thing. Not down here, but down into the description box. Check it out. All right, back into the video. Sorry. No, I'm not. And a super easy way to fix that is for all these people who have all of these benefits and make all of this money to quit, right? To all retire. If they all retire, or a large chunk of them do, it's gonna free up a lot of cash and help the already struggling post office. This is a public service, right? It is a public service that I think a lot of people take for granted. Because like there's people who will say things like, just wait till the post office goes private. And I'm here to tell you, you really don't want that. Because here's the thing, if the post office were to suddenly go private, right? Then little things like when your mail is delivered, you can no longer count on that, right? And the reason you can't is because as a private company, they don't have to guarantee anymore that your mail gets there on time. And so for the people like boomers who prefer, I'm not saying all boomers, but just like for people like boomers who prefer to get all of their bills via the mail, they will not come on time. And the post office will not care. And I know that there's gonna be somebody who goes, they don't care now. You know what? Eat shit. And don't start in on that, well, you chose this job. Like, listen, jobs are jobs. This is America, all right? And let's be very real about like what you want to do. And like, let's also really have a conversation about the fact that a lot of neurodivergent people work in these kinds of jobs because it's one of the few jobs, like being in delivery, whether it's UPS, USPS, FedEx, DHL, Amazon, it's mostly calm, it's quiet. You don't have to deal with other people for a large portion of your day. And you just get to do your job and leave. Like that is exactly what a lot of neurodivergent people need. We don't, especially if you're autistic. I don't want to have a lot of like small talk, weird conversations with customers. I already have enough trouble with that as is. Like if you walk up to me to grab your mail and you go off script on like exactly what it is we're going to say, which to me is usually like, hey, how are you? And you know, or they come up and they're like, how are you today? And I say, I'm fine. How are you? And they're supposed to just say good. But then they start in on like other things where they're just like, it's a beautiful day to blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I didn't practice for this. So anyways, it's so awkward because I'm just like, I really didn't practice for this conversation, so I don't know what I'm supposed to say after this. I practiced for the first 4 sentences and like that's all I thought we were gonna do, and now you're still talking. But anyways, but yeah, these kinds of jobs are really great for neurodivergent people because for the most part, we'll just work quietly, do our job, go home, and just like enjoy the rest of our day, whatever that is. But it can be super stressful for us because depending on who you are, if you absolutely cannot handle change, then absolutely not. This is not for you. But these kinds of jobs are helpful for us. I think it's one of the things that keeps the small percentage of us, especially with autism, employed, right? It is specifically because of the fact that you can work in your own time and for the most part, do things the way you want to do them, right? Like every day I come in, I have a way that I want to do things, right? And that's how I do it. Unlike like working at an office job, et cetera, where a lot of those things are like, this is the process. This is how we do it. Don't not do it that way. And I'm like, that way's stupid. And I don't understand why you won't let me do it in a way that is more efficient. I don't know how it took me so long to realize that I was autistic. Like, anyways, because I'm like, this way is inefficient, and I don't know why y'all keep doing it this way. And they're like, because this is the way we've always done it. And I'm like, that is unfortunate and also wrong. But the thing is, when you are doing it this way, when you're working for the post office or whatever, like a lot of it is based on how you want to do things, how I want to load up my vehicle, how I want to sort everything. I can kind of go in little circles to just like get everything done. But when I get bored of like, I don't know, sorting my flats, then I'm like, all right, well, let's just bundle mail right quick and do that. So basically, like, I get to set my day how I want to, and it's very relaxing. Like nobody has the authority to tell me that I have to do things this way. And now that being said, you know, being able to set my day in a way that is more beneficial to me is so helpful. Like it makes my life easier. It's less stressful. Like I know, okay, well, if I do it this way today, then this is what is going to happen for me. You know what I mean? Like I'm aware of how each thing impacts how my day is going to go. And basically by them doing this, like in cutting pay the way that they have, it's got a lot of different problems with it, right? Because here's the thing, in 6 months, they're going to do another mail count. Here's the thing that this impacts that isn't just like regular shit. Like if you're still not on board and you're like, screw it, whatever, you also have to consider that like every 6 months, basically, your pay can go up or down wildly, which affects your everyday life. This is the problem. Like if you know, I mean, obviously once we all get used to the system, I guess it won't be as bad, but we don't know that for sure because the way that this the pendulum swung so harsh, like, please hold, it's eyeliner time. Enjoy the music. Everybody's mad and all of the little things are going out the window. Like little things, like again, making small errors. I don't have the time or energy to like actually go and research and figure it out, especially because I know a lot of people be moving without leaving a forwarded address. And I know a lot of people think that if you don't leave a forwarding address, and that means that you won't be advertised to. But here's the fun thing. The advertisers buy your information. Also another side note, every time you order online, whether it be from Ulta, Sephora, Old Navy, any of these folks, they always have a little box that says that you want to receive their magazine, all right? And as such, therefore, and forthwith, that's why you're getting it. If you go to the casino, I know those of you who go to WinStar probably are pissed off every day about the amount of times you get those little like flyers from the casino. Guess what? That is, you signed up for that. You said, okay, you went to they asked you somewhere if they could send you that information. And they do. And fun fact, every last one of them, if you see electronic service requested, they're requesting that we forward this to whatever address that you move to. So like, you're never going to get away from that. It is your responsibility to go online and tell them you don't want the mail anymore. That's all. You have to tell them that. We can't do it. So please stop putting that shit in the outbox expecting that my job is not trash. I am not the trash person, okay? Please stop doing that. It's really shitty. Like people do that and be like, meh. And they'll write, and I've had people write nasty notes like, stop giving me this trash. I'm like, baby, you asked for this trash. It wasn't me. All I do is deliver the shit as addressed. Also, side note, I know that you people will also be like, this is for the old person, the old neighbors that used to live here. Why are you still delivering it to me? Please note that if it says current resident, that's why. If it says the old person's name, say Audra German last name, used to live where you live. It says Audra German last name or current resident. That's why you're still getting it. So live your best life. Anyways, I'm telling all y'all this because one, it's postal tea. Okay, listen. My favorite kind of tea is postal tea. Listen, that's because I work there. Anyways, there was a brief moment where I thought I wanted to wear lashes, and like, I just don't, so I'm not going to. But the other thing is, I'm sure people probably have this idea of like, why don't you strike? It's because we can't contractually. The post office cannot strike. And again, that is public information. The post office can't strike. So we're all just stuck getting like punched in the face. And now the big thing is that we're all having to learn the system, and all the information that a lot of us are getting weren't from our soups, weren't from our offices. Guess where they were from? You guessed it, Reddit. Listen, Reddit is like such a treasure trove of information. And so like now everybody now knows all of the things that we're supposed to be doing to get credited for our routes. Now I know that there are going to be some people who are going to file grievances against their route. I personally am not. I am going to leave it alone because I know that in 6 months, my route is in fact going to shoot up. It's already going to be a 48 by that point again. And I'm going to leave it there because I still finish in a decent amount of time most of the time. And most importantly, I am using the scan system properly. As such, therefore, and forthwith, that will let me know. And if it's still jacked after that, then yes, of course, I will file a grievance because baby, you are not going to pay me crap money and pretend that you're not gonna piss in my face and tell me it's raining is what I'm getting at. Now, I have this last little bit of tea that I'm gonna hit y'all with because this isn't even, well, yeah, it is tea, but it's like a situation that happened. So that's, now you know, if your postal person is grouchier than usual, grumpy, doesn't really smile, doesn't want to talk to you, it's because they just got a huge pay cut. So
put out your snacks.
Put out some snacks and drinks. It's getting warmer. Thank you. Now, all y'all know for sure that I am definitely one to gossip, okay? I love gossip. I'm gonna gossip 100% of the time because I am what? I'm a messy bitch, okay? Listen, I love gossiping. So I'm gonna tell y'all what happened. So in learning about what all of these scans mean and how we're supposed to be using them, right? I had been using my authorized dismounts. I was already upset because they had added yet another apartment complex to my route, and with there only being 4 hours left to add to it, I was like, this doesn't make sense, babes, because I am going to run out of hours really quick and I'm still going to be expected to deliver to the rest of my neighborhood that is also growing. So I call my union rep. I'm like, hey fam, they're trying to make me do this. And he's like, is it coming in your DPS? And I'm like, yes, sir. And he's like, then it is in fact on your route. And I was like, fuck. And then I was like, all right, so I will do that. And then I asked him point blank, I said, please confirm for me that authorized dismount is supposed to be used at CBUs. And he was like, yes, it is. That is what it's for. You use that, and however many trips it takes you, you put it. If it takes 3 trips, then you put 3 trips. You're supposed to be using authorized dismount. I was like, thank you, baby. Anyways, that's not exactly what I said. Obviously, I didn't call my union rep baby. That would be awkward for both of us. Anyhow, I was like, thanks, babe. So I'm excited, and I'm like, cool. Got that confirmed. Going on about my business. The next day, I come into the office, all right? And I am prepped to tell my supervisor, all right, I understand that I have to do the apartments. I do know that they can be taken off in a couple of weeks, so like I'm cool, right? But they're not in yet. They come in later, and I have a note on my desk with all my authorized dismounts highlighted, fam, highlighted, okay? And it says, stop doing this. You're reporting fraudulent information. Now, baby, I'm going to tell you one thing about me. There's many things you can call me. There's many things that you can do. But what you cannot do is call me a liar. I do not lie. Lying is not in my DNA. I may embellish, okay? Right? But I will then also obviously go back and immediately correct it because correct information is important to me. But here's what I'm telling you. I lost my shit, okay? I was like, I'm so upset. I'm pissed off. I'm like ready to just burn this bitch down, figuratively, not literally. So when she arrives and she comes up and she's like, Audra, you have to deliver to the apartments. I go, no, that's fine. I will do that. What I'm not okay with is being called a liar. And then I'm like turning and walk out and she's like, well, no, you're not supposed to. I'm like, no, I spoke to the union rep and we are supposed to be using authorized dismounts, not trip to door, not trip to door. I'm at the CBU. The CBU is not the door. Okay, I'm done. I'm gonna calm down, bring it back, be yourself. But also, that is yourself. Anyways, I was furious and I'm just like burning with heat and rage. All right, because you call me a liar and that is almost the worst thing you can call me. It's like the second worst thing that you can call me, right? And I'm just like, absolutely not. You're not gonna call me a liar. I'm pissed. Anyway, I'm out, I'm doing my work, and she ends up calling me because there's an issue with another customer who, listen, these fools did not check their mail. These fools did not check their mail. And I pulled the box. If your mailbox gets full, I pull it. I leave you a note saying, hey, I pulled your shit. You got 10 days to come get it. Now, me being me, I often give you more time than 10 days. Because one, I don't really want to send everything back. And two, like sometimes there's just extenuating circumstances that people can have. So I try not to be a dick about it. I'll normally keep it for like sometimes 20, 25 days. I'll keep it for a while. You know what I mean? If you don't come get it. Here's the other thing. Y'all get notifications when you have packages. I know you do because I also get packages. I myself order things online. I know how it works. So if you're getting notifications that you got a package and it does not say delivered, it says customer hold, baby, it's time for you to figure out what's going on. Go to your mailbox. You still ain't gone? Oh, then you did go and you pulled out the slip so that you would think that I didn't know that I told you to come get your shit and I just start delivering? Absolutely not. I don't think so. I think the fuck not, you trick ass bitch. So what I did was I was like, oh no. And what I also do is because I also get a day off from delivering mail, I put a little green slip in there. It just says vacation hold, but I use that so that whoever is delivering on my day off knows not to put mail in there, right? They're like, oh, that's on hold. So then they come back and they're like putting on there like, I am going on vacation. I was like, bitch, all right. So I wrote them a little note. I said, okay, well, listen, all your mail has been sent back. I sent it back. I pulled your shit on like March 14th. I sent it back in April. So you had like 2-3 weeks to finally just decide. I feel like it was like maybe last week. I'm like, and you didn't. You were like, Now you mad calling up my supervisor trying to tell on me when it was really you. Anyways, that was a fun part because I was like, listen, don't try to tell on me because you're gonna look real dumb. And you know what? They looked real dumb. Guess who's checking their mail now? They are. Anyways, so she called me about that and I gave her the details of the situation. I was like, this is what's happened. She's like, oh. I was like, yeah. And then she apologized. She's like, I was wrong, like da-da-da-da, which is good. I'm glad that she apologized. I'm happy. She wasn't really trained properly either, but here is my problem with that, okay? My problem with that is like, if I was able to call our union rep and another person in the office was able to call our union rep and get that confirmed, I'm so confused why you didn't. Anyways, the point is you apologized and now I'm no longer burning hot with anger and rage. So that's it, y'all. That is the postal tea. This is what I look like. I'm gonna take some photos. And you know what? It's time to play a little video game. Now y'all know. All right, I will see y'all in the next one. Also, before I leave, let me just do the little roll call because I don't get to do it all that often on this channel. I would like to thank my patrons and channel members with the entirety of my whole heart and my legs because I use them a lot and you know they mean a lot to me, for y'all and your support because we've been having some fun. I've been enjoying putting up makeup content there that's just for y'all. Like it's been nice, it's been relaxing, it's been chill, and I appreciate y'all. Listen, my birthday's coming up. I'll have a few days off. We're gonna watch Win a Date with Tad Hamilton, not for my birthday, but we're gonna watch it soon because I'm really excited about that. So we're gonna watch Win a Date with Tad Hamilton. It's gonna be fun times. Appreciate y'all, and that's it. That's all. Goodbye.